If you're a songwriter who's trying to get your music to A&R, to record labels, to radio stations, even music supervisors, artist managers, whoever it may be, then this video is for you. I've spent years working in the industry in radio, also as a publisher, working with major labels like Warner Chappell and Sony, and as a songwriter pitching my material as well. And I can tell you that there's so many talented songwriters and producers who are unknowingly sabotaging their own chances before anyone has even listened to their demo. They've not even pressed play and already they're put off by the email. And today I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most common mistakes and, more importantly, how to fix them. Now we're going to start with the tone of your email. And what's really important about this is getting it right, because it's your first impression. This is your chance to tell whoever it is that you're sending your song to who you are, what you're about, and how you're going to behave in the future in terms of your emails and your etiquette. And I know it sounds like an old-fashioned thing to say, but actually being nice gets you quite far in this industry, in the same way it does in many. The first thing that people get wrong is being too cocky. And I've seen emails that go, for example, "Hi, I'm the best songwriter ever. This track's going to be massive. I expect to hear from you within 48 hours. You'd be amazed at how many people say that. Can you imagine receiving that? Imagine being on the other end of that, though. Whether you're a publisher, an A&R exec, or a label, you're going to delete that and you're not going to bother with it, because if anything, arrogance, confidence is great, arrogance is terrible, and arrogance is a big red flag in the industry. It signals that you're going to be difficult to work with. So even if you're trying to be confident, it's about getting it just right, and being too cocky can really harm your chances. Also, being too meek can also be a problem. So if you are going the other way and if you're to sort of be a bit too sort of passive with it, for example, "I know you're really busy. This is probably not what you're looking for, but I thought I'd send it over just in case. Sorry to bother you," that kind of thing. That gives them no reason to engage either. The A&R person at the other end of that is going to say, well, this person clearly doesn't believe in themselves. Why should I? So there is a sweet spot. And what you want is to find that confidence that I think is really important, because I think you should be confident. You're sending your work to somebody, and of course you've got to be confident, because if you don't believe in it, they definitely won't. But you should also be warm and professional. So you might say something like, "Hi, I'm a songwriter based in Scotland, specializing in K-pop. I have a few tracks that I think would be a strong fit for your roster, and I'd love to share them with you. Would it be okay if I follow up with some links?" That's everything that an A&R person would like to receive. It's short, it's respectful, it's confident, it's not groveling, and it's not bragging. So the big thing here is be warm, be brief, be confident in what you're doing. And number 2, apologizing for your demo. This is a big one. It drives me crazy as well, but it's really, really common. You send your demo and you say something like, "Well, this isn't quite finished yet," or "The production isn't great, but I'd love to redo it," or "Ignore the vocals, they're just the guide vocals." That's fine in a listening session. That's fine when you're playing it to people that you know and you trust, or people that you're working with. If you're going to send that to an A&R person, let's say you've got your demos together and you're about to press send, just stop right now. Don't do it. Don't apologize for your demo before anyone has heard it. You're telling them to brace themselves for something that isn't up to standard. You've got to be confident enough that you're sending it in a way that they are going to like what they're hearing. Now, what you're doing, if you say to them, "This isn't quite up to standard," in whatever way you might say that, you're conditioning them to hear flaws that you might not have even noticed. So you might be saying, "Well, look, I just need to change the vocal." And that might be alerting them to that, okay, well, it's not finished. So, I'm hearing that those guitars need fixed, or I think that drum, the drum pattern isn't quite right, or whatever it might be. So you're essentially asking them to reject you. If the demo isn't ready and you feel it's not ready, don't send it. Just wait. Wait until it's ready. And you've got to be proud of what you send. That doesn't mean it has to be the most extravagant demo in the world. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the song and the performance, and just making sure that you're confident with it. A good song idea will shine through even a modest demo, but you need to present it with conviction. A&R people and publishers, they're listening to demos all the time, and they know what a demo is. They're not expecting a finished master recording all the time. Now, there are exceptions. Sometimes when you're pitching to certain artists, they are kind of expecting a pretty much finished demo, certainly very close to a master recording. And that is important. And it's important to know what it is you're sending before you send it, and make sure you get it right. But if you're just sending a demo, stand behind it, send your best work. If you wouldn't press play and be confident, then it's probably not ready to pitch. Next up, mistake number 3, sending huge files instead of links. Really, really common. It's a practical one, but it actually matters more than you might think. Don't send giant WAV files as email attachments. I've seen people attach 3 or 4 40 meg audio files with a cold introduction email. And what happens? Well, it gets blocked or it gets deleted. It lands in spam. It doesn't even land in the inbox sometimes. And it just clogs up so badly that they actually resent you for it. And I think it's really important. I've been on both sides of this. Send it as a link, I think, is the way to go. It's kind of industry standard. It is difficult because you might worry about, well, what if I send a link and they don't believe it's a real, genuine link? Well, that's why I think sometimes an introductory email first is good, followed with a link. I really like Disco, disco.ac. I'll put an affiliate link in the description. So if you want to check it out, then you can do that. It's specifically built for music industry pitching. There are a few out there. There's some really good ones. I think one called Session Studio. I think that's right. So you upload your tracks, you can set them as private, you can share a clean, professional looking link. The recipient can then stream the tracks without downloading anything, and you can even track whether they've listened, so you've got real control over what you're sending. There's also Dropbox is good, Google Drive, SoundCloud can be okay. Disco is kind of more built for purpose, but those ones are also quite good. A great tactic as well is use that first contact email as permission to follow up with links. It goes a long way to say, would you be happy for me to send over a few links to some tracks, because it's respectful. It gets them to opt in, and it means that you send the second email with the links and they're actually expecting a link. So in that way, you're kind of on a win-win. Number 4, sending too many demos, including irrelevant ones. Okay, this is really important. Let's say you're pitching to be a writer on the roster of a label or an A&R for a publisher, and you want to be on the roster. Sending loads of songs isn't really the right way to do it, because what happens is people suffer from overload. They're just like me and you. They open the email and they go, wow, there's 40 songs in here. What am I going to do with this? It is quality over quantity, and I cannot say that loudly enough. It doesn't mean that all your songs aren't fantastic. They might all be brilliant. But when you're pitching, pick the ones that are mostly relevant. I've had people send me links to their entire back catalogue, 30, 40, 100 songs. Nobody's going to listen to them. And in all honesty, they might listen to 2 or 3, but if the first few tracks don't grab them, the rest will never get heard. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Pick your best 2 or 3 songs. I would say 3 very most, to be honest, and your first introductory sort of follow up to somebody. And only send them when if they're genuinely relevant to the person you're pitching to. And this is crucial. If you're pitching to a management company that looks after a contemporary boy band, for example, don't include your ambient orchestral instrumental or your reggae track. It might be amazing, but it doesn't matter. They're going to tell you instantly that you've not done your research, or they'll know that you've not done your research. That's what you're telling them. You're spraying and praying, which is I'm not sure if I like that phrase or not, but we'll go with it. Before you pitch to anyone, do your research. Listen to their artists, read about what they're currently working on, understand the gap in their roster that it might fill, and send only the tracks that genuinely speak to that gap. 2 or 3 killer tracks, perfectly targeted, will always beat a folder of 20 average songs. Next mistake, number 5, final mistake, not handling rejection gracefully. Look, I've been guilty of this many times. And I've got better as I've got older. I've got a lot more kind of understanding of how the industry works. It is a really important one. Rejection in the music industry, and again, I can't say this loudly enough, it is not the exception, it is the norm. Okay, even the best songwriters in the world get turned down constantly. It's just the reality of the industry, and you need to be prepared for it. When someone passes on your song, it's almost never because the song is bad. It just means it's not the right fit for what they need right now. And maybe you already have something similar. Maybe they've already got something similar. Maybe the artist's direction's changed. Maybe the brief changed. A lot of the time we don't really know when we get a song brief, and we'll talk about that another time, whether or not that is exactly what they're looking for. But there's hundreds of reasons a great song doesn't get placed, and very few of them are about quality. So what you mustn't do, we absolutely should not do, and it happens a lot, and it can be really detrimental in your career, is reply with anger, bitterness, or any kind of drama. I've seen replies like, well, I think you're making a huge mistake, or going on social media to complain about being rejected. These are the things that people remember. The music industry is a very small industry, and I mean that worldwide, not just in the UK or wherever it is that you're writing from. It is a worldwide small industry. People know people. So maybe reply with something, thanks so much for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. I'll keep you in mind for future tracks. That's about it. That's all you need to do. It's gracious. It shows that you understand, but that you're confident in what you do. reaching out next time, they might just have a project that fits. So rejection handled well can actually open doors. Remember that. I'm going to give you one bonus one, and it's pretty simple, and I don't mean this to come across in any way condescending or, yeah, obviously, Mike, we know that. Be nice. And it's such a simple thing, but I'm going to say it anyway because it does matter. A&R people are actually human beings. I know they might not always feel like it. I've met one or two that you might question whether they're human beings or not, but they are. They're actually 99% of the time lovely people. Publishers are human beings. They're lovely people. They're not gatekeepers sent to torment you. They just genuinely want to find the best songs for the right projects. And you've got to remember there's pressure on them to do that as well. So it's important that you remember that, and that being warm, friendly, professional and pleasant to deal with really does go a long way. People want to work with people that they like. It doesn't matter about whether or not you've got the perfect song at that time. It's about being yourself, being a genuine human being, saying thank you, being patient, following up thoughtfully, showing interest in what they say. It's an industry built on relationships, and I really want to sort of hammer home the point that being nice will get you far. So there you go, 5 mistakes that songwriters make when pitching their songs, plus the bonus tip as well, which might be the most valuable. Just to recap, get your introductory tone of your email right, never apologise for your demo, send links not files, be selective and targeted with your pitches, handle rejection with grace, and just be a good person to deal with. If you do that, you're 99% of the way there, I reckon. If you found this useful, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out a lot. There is our school community as well. You can check out the link in the description as well. Come and join us if you want to get more in-depth discussion on this and many more things. Until next time, keep writing, keep pitching, and don't worry about rejections. It happens.